Our beloved 8% HardAF Seltzer is now live in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Go to HardAFSeltzer.com today. Click on the store locator and enter your city or zip to find the closest location nearest you.
We are gold for energy. Send it.
Incoming!
Put the money in the bag, man.
As I said, your paycheck is your thank you.
What's going on back there? This is awesome! Welcome to Earth! No. Who's flying the plane? Get cockpit. Go. God.
Black Rifle Energy, dropping near you.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by OmahaSteaks.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids. From time to time, we try to do a little good, try to inspire people, try to help people out. Today is one of those days here. We got Larry Hagner on the show. New book comes out next month. The Pursuits of Legendary Fatherhood. Break old patterns and create an epic legacy as a father and a husband. You must be married. Larry.
Last time I checked, I was.
Lair Bear.
You should check in.
Lair Bear.
You should check in from time to time.
I probably should. Are we still married? She's here in studio. Are we still married?
It looks like your wife off screen, and I'm like, are you guys married or are you not married?
She's smiling, so I'm guessing we're still married as of right now.
You are. How long you guys been married?
We have been married. That's the old cover. We've been married 22 years as of this month.
22 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been with my wife for 14, and this Bob, this is the cover right here. We got a new cover. Were you testing something out there?
Yeah, that was the old cover.
It's the old cover right there. But that's what books are. The amount of times I've swapped out the cover on my books, like it's
just you can't even count.
You keep fucking with it because you're like, did I get this right? Did I not get this right?
Yeah, he usually starts with just a picture of O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
From his USC days.
Yep.
Running the football where we all remember him, you know what I mean?
The glory days.
Yeah, and then you go to the Hertz commercial.
Sure do.
And then right to the trial.
Well, now you're heading for Kurt Russell. So
well,
for the look-alike, the
I
mustache,
know.
the
So
hair.
my wife wants.
Right.
She's gonna love to hear that tonight, dude.
Well, it's either Kurt Russell or one of those dudes that wears a lot of leather in certain parts of town.
Speaking of which, dude, one of my neighbors yesterday was like, "How about you go as Freddie Mercury for Halloween?" And I was like, "Well, I mean,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, not really, but yeah.
with my kids." In
Are
the
you
neighborhood.
familiar? Do you know what the ick is? You ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
The ick?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
You don't want your wife seeing you like that, buddy. That's like ugly crying in front of your wife. You don't want to do that either.
And because I'm sweating my ass off coaching kids every night in this goddamn heat here, I've lost a shit ton of weight on accident. Like, it has nothing to do with anything in particular other than that, where you're just wringing out your shirt. I mean, it's just soaking here. So I do have an AIDS-ish type body, and I feel like I might be a good Freddie Mercury for Halloween. Like, I really, it actually might
work out.
Perfect, yeah.
You just got to get the teeth right.
Yeah. That's impossible. Nobody had teeth like that fucking guy.
No, ever.
Jesus Christ.
Was it a doc or something where it explained the reason he could reach those vocal octaves was because of how large his teeth were or some shit like that?
Yeah, and he was...
or maybe it was like the separation in the back of his jaw that
he was worried if he got him fixed that he wouldn't be able to sing like that anymore. Yeah, which is weird to think about. But
yeah, because he should have been worried about AIDS.
Nah, not that.
You know?
Nah, it's the voice. Ayo. And then he was worried, obviously, about the AIDS later.
Well, right. Not worried enough, but
well, it sneaks up on you. Sneaks up on the best of us, you know. R.I.P. Easy-E. He didn't know either, for Christ's sakes.
No, he did not.
But what made you want to write this book? What's your background?
My background is sports medicine with a minor in nutrition. And then I also sold medical devices for about 18 years.
What sort of medical devices?
I sold stuff for spine. I also sold stuff for wound debridement, which that was really juicy and disgusting.
Wait, what is that?
Wound debridement?
Yeah.
It's where people have either diabetic ulcers on their feet or they could have traumatic wounds from like a horrible car accident or, you know, just all kinds of infected, nasty wounds. Yeah, and then I wrote that.
That's
so
hey, by the way,
totally aligned.
That's
like,
a fetish, though. You know that, right?
What, the wound?
Yeah, crash victims. They made a
Stop.
movie out of it. Yep.
Yeah, so there's 2 movies called Crash.
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard
There's
Yes.
one that won Oscars,
Oscar, yeah.
and there's another one that came out in like '96, and it was about people getting into car wrecks because it turned them on sexually.
Are you for real?
I think it was '96,
Yes.
maybe
I know.
'97.
And it was,
Yeah.
I think James Spader was the lead of it. If memory
wow.
serves me
Yeah,
correct.
it was a real.
It was a
it's-
big movie.
It's weird.
Sounds
as
about
shit.
Well, it was a
right.
big independent film.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who'd you work for? Medtronic?
It was Smith and Nephew, and I used to
okay.
deal with stuff that was.
Is this
it,
true?
It literally looked like
And,
that.
and Bob, before you post this on screen, are we allowed to show this?
Yeah.
I
pretty
wouldn't. I just don't want to see it. It
It's
looks
I
like.
don't want to see it anymore, but can we post it?
Is that?
Are we allowed to show it? Fuck it. Go ahead. It's a real human.
I will tell you, it smells really good when you're in the room when one of those things get opened. Too.
like almonds?
Oh, it's like I can't even describe the smell. It's really bad.
What is it?
It's an infected
It's
wound.
it just smells horrific.
It smells really bad.
Luckily,
usually.
I've never been around something like this in my
Yeah,
life, so
it's
I
nasty.
don't have to deal with it. No wonder you wanted to get the fuck out of there.
I decided to write that book, and that was my exit strategy.
It took
Was
you
it really?
18 Took you 18 years now.
I was gonna say, dude, shit.
But as far as like writing that, I mean, I've been doing this. I've been podcasting in the dad space for 10 years. So I always joke I got 1,400 episodes now, so I got enough to keep people busy for a while. But no, I mean, I wrote that book. I wrote a few other books about dadhood, but my story is, I guess, a little unique. I grew up, my mom and biological father were married pretty young, like about 21. They had me in 75. I just turned 50. And after they had me, they were married for about 4 years. They got divorced, and my dad was out, and I never knew my dad. And I was about 4 years old. This is kind of crazy. I was 4 going on 5, but I still remember this to this day. I was in preschool, maybe kindergarten, and I would see dads come pick up their kids. So I knew what a dad was as a kid, and I knew some dads wore suits and some dads wore jeans and that kind of thing. But I knew I didn't have a dad. But it was not a big deal to me growing up. I was just figured moms go out and find dads. Like, that's literally what I thought. I thought, like, well, moms go out and find dads. My mom hasn't found my dad yet, so that's no big deal. The very first time, I'm 5 years old, my mom brings home a man. And this is going to freak you out.
Was he black?
No, but he kind of looks like you.
Oh, really?
He did. Swear to God.
It was-
like when I first saw you, I was like, holy
Is that
crap.
the fucking thing of the show? Like, I'm your fucking dad, and you're coming back to
That's
talk
it.
to me?
We're reunited. Yeah.
Bro. Was it
you had me when
was
you were
it
like 9.
Was it
Yeah.
was it Dale Earnhardt? That's your biological.
Was it a gay Daryl Earnhardt? That's what I look like right now.
But no, all kidding aside, man, like I was 5. I still remember my mom telling me that day, she's like, hey, I'm going to have a friend of mine over for dinner tonight. He's a really special friend. I've known him for about 6 months. We work together, and I want you to meet him. Mm-hmm. And I was like really excited. I was like, awesome. I was like, this is great. Like, she found the dad. Like, that's the dad. Like, I know this is the dad. So this guy comes walking in my house. I'm 5 years old. He's got a mustache. He's got the feathered hair. You know, he's got. I don't know if you have feathered hair or not. but like,
Yes.
Yeah.
If I grow this out, it feathers.
It's awesome, man. So, Dad, you're home. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But like, so he's wearing this 3-piece suit. He's got the double Windsor tie. He's got the briefcase. Dude, it's 1979, right? This guy comes walking in, and I shake his hand, and literally, I'm like looking up at this guy, and the first thing I asked this guy is, I was like, "Are you gonna be my dad?" And like literally, I'm just beaming, and my mom, like, I think she like gasped. Like, I heard her like, and he just kind of like laughed, but dude, 6 months later, they got married, and.
Can I freak it out even more?
Let's hear it.
Almost identical story.
What?
Yep. Parents got divorced, and mom got remarried. And when my mom went on my first date with my stepdad, who's been, I've always considered myself having 2 dads my entire life, and they're both great, by the way. So that was the first thing I asked.
Are you serious?
Yeah. My mom told me the story. She goes, I walked up and I was like, "Oh, are you my new dad or what?"
No
Yep.
way.
Dead serious.
That's wild.
Yeah,
man.
super
This
bizarre.
guy is still he's your
To this day.
okay.
Yeah, shout out Jerry, dude.
Yeah,
He's,
Jerry's still kicking. He's probably
still-
drinking HardAF right now.
I hope
actually.
so.
It's Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon, it should
at
be.
5:30
I mean,
on the
it's
East
5
Coast. He's
o'clock.
Yeah,
definitely drinking.
dude, he should be. But
Yeah.
swear to God, it's identical story. And that's as
Well,
a kid.
sort of.
Well, but as a kid,
Because
that's
he
what
doesn't.
you think of.
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't look like him. So I guess there's one difference.
This
Yeah,
is
that's the
my
only
builder.
difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a little older than you,
Yeah.
but not by much. I'm kidding.
wild.
No, but with that, the interesting part to me is, I think after hearing your story and what clearly I said, that's what kids think, because you're so young. Yeah, you're like, okay, cool. This is it, right?
Yeah,
this
this is
is
the
what's
dad.
going to happen. And yeah, they ended up getting married.
They ended up getting married. They got married like 6 months later, and so it was fast, really, really fast. And dude, I'll tell you what, man. I knew that guy as my dad. He adopted me. I have the same last name he does, and they were married for about 6 years. And I'll tell you, the first year was pretty awesome. Like, family's complete. You know, my mom's quit work, and everything's awesome. And then it was about the next 4 years were disastrous. Like, he was very abusive, huge alcoholic.
Physically or?
Physically,
Okay.
mentally, emotionally. I mean, I remember at one point, I think I was 6, and they had been out partying one night. They came home. I woke up in the middle of the night to my mom, like, literally screaming in the middle of the night. And I was like, what is going on? I get out of bed. I go into their bedroom, and my dad is, like, holding my mom's arms down. Nothing sexual. They were just, like, in a fight. And he's holding her down, and she's freaking out. And, like, I freaked out. I went over. I'm, like, trying to peel this guy's hands off my mom's hands. I'm, like, literally, like, hitting his hands, like, beating his hands. He gets up. He, like, drags me into my room, throws me back in my room. I run back out again. I try to do the same thing. He drags me back in my room. And I think at one point, I was so freaked out about hearing my mom scream that I held my hands over my ears, and I just screamed as loud as I could because I didn't want to hear it. And the neighbors heard me and called the cops. And that was the first of a handful of times cops came to my house due to my parents fighting. But it was nuts. It was crazy. And then when I was 10, they got divorced. And unfortunately, I've never seen him since. I actually found out about 15 years ago he died. And so I started asking a lot of questions.
I was going to say, how did you feel about that?
He was very abusive, like I said. It was when he left, even at 10 years old, like, there was an element of relief, but there was also an element of, like, this sucks. Like, because, I mean, I'm 50, so I kind of came from that generation where if your parents got divorced, like, you were, like, screwed up, broken, like, what's wrong with you, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my friends' parents were still together, so I was still that guy that wasn't, I didn't have a dad at home. But I started asking a lot of questions, though. I was like, wait a second, this dude came into my life when I was, like, 5. Like, where did I come from? And my mom told me, she's like, hey, I was married before. Like, you have another dad out there that we got divorced when you were, like, 1. And I was like, I had no clue. So, kind of a crazy thing, but when I was 12, and I'm happy to share the story because it's really, really weird, but I met him on accident. Had no idea. The only thing I knew was his name.
Where was it at?
So I'll explain it. I was 12. I went to a rec center to go play basketball with
Oh
one
my
of my
God!
friends.
Jokingly, I was just about to say it. What, an YMCA pickup game?
Right. Yeah. Are we related?
I don't know.
We might be.
But it was going to be my bid. I was going to say, oh, did you beat him one-on-one? And then he's like, holy shit, you're my fucking dad. Fuck you.
It didn't go down like that, but I'm starting to wonder if we were like,
That would be
long lost
awesome.
souls,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
I knew his name. That was all I knew. And it's a really unique name. He and I have the same first name. So anyway, I'm standing there, I'm getting my basketball from the guy behind the desk, and I hear the guy behind the desk say, oh, here comes Mrs. So-and-so with the hockey payment, because my dad played hockey up at this rec center. So I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say the last name was? And he told me, and I was like, you said her husband plays hockey up here? I'm like, again, 12. And he's like, yeah, he plays hockey. I was like, what's his name? And he's like, his name's Larry. And I was like, oh my God. And it's not like my dad's name is Larry Smith. I'm not going to say his last name, but like his last name, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I think that's my dad's wife. Like, I think that woman is married to my dad. No idea. Never met him, never met her. So I tell my friend this, And
At 12 years old?
At 12.
Okay.
I tell my friend this. I was like, I think this woman coming in is married to my dad. He's like, you should ask her. So I'm 12 years old. She hands over the check. I go up to her. I tap her on the back, and I'm like, excuse me. I was like, what's your name? And she like looks at me like I've got like two heads, right? And she goes, she tells me her name. And I said, are you married to this guy? And she said, yeah. And I go, this sounds kind of crazy. I was like, but I think you're married to my dad. And she looked at me, and you saw this look on her face. She goes, are you Larry? And I go, yeah, I am. And she goes, yep, I'm married to your dad. She goes, sweetheart, would you like to talk to your dad? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. I've never talked to him, so I would love to.
Holy shit.
We went around the corner to a payphone. She puts a quarter in.
This is a really old story.
Payphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Payphones.
Yeah.
It's like Back to the Future. Marty McFly was there. You were there. You
I
remember.
I'm super young, so I just turned 34. Don't know that time period. Weird. I heard Adam Levine sing about it. That's about it.
So she calls him, and I hear this guy's voice on the other end, and I'm like, holy shit. And he was very, very humble. I don't even remember what was said, but I do remember we had decided that I was going to meet him. I went home, told my mom. She wasn't very happy, but she was like, yeah, if you want to meet him, you can.
And you're how old? 12?
12, yeah.
Whoa, dude.
So I still remember the first day I met him. We spent the whole day together. We went out to lunch. He took me to like an arcade. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. He only lived 3 miles from us. We had no idea.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's wild.
he was remarried. A 2-year-old. I have a two-year-old half brother at the time, and she's pregnant with my other half brother. And we hung out for like 6 months.
Okay.
And I saw him every week. Came to all my little league games. We were like super tight. And then it was like month 5. Like he just, like there was some like distance that kind of happened. And like best way I can describe it is if you've ever been dating someone and they're not into you anymore, but they haven't told you yet.
Yeah.
It's like that was the vibe I was getting. There was like some distance that was happening, but I couldn't really figure it out. So I called.
But you're a kid though
I was a
too,
kid.
so like those emotions are a
Yeah.
lot higher than they are as an adult who can kind of figure out a relationship. Whereas a kid at 12, you probably don't fucking know, right?
I don't think you know, but I think you kind of know. but
Well,
you
your
just don't-
body knows.
Yeah, it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Your somatic system knows because 96% of communication is nonverbal. Before you ever learn how to contextualize, you learn how to feel.
Interesting. So as a kid, you knew that?
I didn't know it, but I kind of knew it, if that makes sense. It's like you feel something's just not right.
Yeah.
And so I remember calling him one day, and I'm like, hey, is there something going on? Like, are we, like, I just noticed we haven't spent a lot of time together. Like, did I do something wrong type of thing? I don't even remember what was said. I just remember the theme that I got was life is really complicated, and we just can't have this relationship right now. And that was it. And he, like, left again. And my mom continued to date. She got remarried again. She got remarried a total of 3 times. And then this is the kicker. So 12 years old, really kind of fell into a dark place, failed the 8th grade. I had to do 8th grade twice, just kind of gave up on school. Did 8th grade again, went to high school, went to college, met my college sweetheart. We got married. I'll fast forward till I'm 30. So in medical device sales, got a college degree. I'm in a Starbucks, 30 years old, 20 years ago, there for a meeting. And who comes walking in for his morning coffee but my father?
Whoa, dude.
I hadn't seen him in 18 years. And he just came walking in, and I recognized him immediately. He still looked the same, just a little older, a little rounder. And I was like, oh, my God, that's my dad.
Did you talk to him?
So here's where the story really takes a twist. So I'm sitting there with a couple people on my team, one of which I was good friends with this woman. And so I was friends with her. Me and Jess, we would hang out with her and her husband. So like the 4 of us would hang out. So she knew my story because I had told her. And she saw this look on my face, and she's like, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost. And I was like, you're not going to believe this. I was like, but my dad just walked in here. And she's like the one from when you were 12? I'm like, yeah. She's like, which one is he? I was like, he's right over there, like literally from us to them. Like that's
black
how
guy.
far. Huh?
You're the black guy.
Black guy.
He's a black guy.
Yep.
How'd you know? It's so
And
weird.
he goes,
Yeah.
did he look over and hold up a pack of cools? And he goes,
I got him.
I'm ready to come home. I finally found the cigarette.
Son, it's been so long.
Idiots.
You know what's so funny is like we can laugh about this now, like we really can, but like So anyway, she tells me, she's like, oh my God, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Like, you gonna go talk to him? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go talk to him. Like, I'm 30 years old. Like, I'm married. I got a kid on the way. Like, this guy hasn't been a part of my life. Like, I was kind of angry about it, right?
This is like 2005.
It was 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so no smartphones yet or anything. So she just got up from the table, didn't even say a word, and just went and sat with him. And I was like, what is this woman about ready to go do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of sounds like when his wife dragged you out to a payphone, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of similar.
It was a little similar. I mean, like, she did ask. This one didn't ask, though. So she,
Yeah.
So she goes over, and I'm like watching this conversation unfold. I can't hear anything, but I'm watching it. And I was like, do I leave? What do I do? So all of a sudden, like, we make eye contact, and he just stands up and he walks over humbly, and he's like, hey man, like, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine. How are you? And I wasn't nice, but I wasn't a total dick. I was kind of like in between. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, are you married? Do you have kids? And I was like, I'm married. I was like, I have a son on the way. And he's like, oh, you know, like, we should get together sometime. And I just looked at him, and I think I remember saying something like, and this is where the smartphone thing comes in. I handed him my business card, and I said, if you want to contact me, here's my information. And I didn't hear from him for a couple days, and then I got an email from him. And this email, man, was really long, really heartfelt, and really humbling. And basically the theme of it was, if you would have a relationship with me, I would welcome it. Worst mistake I ever made was not only leaving once, but twice. Like, I know I've made bad decisions. I'd really love to have a relationship. I kind of make him, I think anybody hearing this makes him sound like he's a bum, but he's not. He's actually an extremely successful entrepreneur, business owner. He is actually a great dad of my two half brothers. He's a great dad now, but just made really poor decisions early on.
Is the email in your book?
It's not. No,
Okay.
not the actual email, no.
Because that would be wild to read after
actually.
hearing this story. Because, yeah, I mean, it's got so many questions. Let's start with the first one that immediately comes to mind is a lot of people have anger and resentment, and they're just like, cool, man, once things are over, fuck off. You had not only one chance, but two. I don't want to see you again. I don't want you a part of my life or my kids' lives or anything else. What stopped you from saying that? Because you got burned twice. 3 times would have been super fucked up. I mean, not that the first times weren't, but it's like you've got a kid on the way who's not born yet, and that's who you want to bring into the world of, like, this is your grandpa. Did you think about that?
I did. Not in the moment. I think for me, the curiosity was so great of, like, I've never had a relationship with this guy. And every relationship I had ever had with any father figure growing up was disastrous. It was abusive. It was negative. I think actually at the age of 18, you know, just, I'll say it for what it is. I was kind of like, fuck fathers. Like I'm over it. Like, I don't even want a dad in my life at this point, because every dude who had walked into my life was like just a disaster. And so I think I was kind of like over it. I'm like, I'm just done with the father thing. But there's something about, I think, the mystery of, like, what happened? Like, what's going on with my biological father? Like, where did I come from? That kind of thing. And I was curious. But to answer your question, because I think this is where you're going, my dad and I, we went out to that breakfast. I brought in my wife, and, like, they all met. I met my half brothers and all that good stuff. But I think it was probably about 6 months into our relationship. Okay. And I had just had my son, and I was kind of in that phase of, like, I really want to hear what the fuck you have to say now. Like, that was my attitude, I think.
Did you bring the son to Cracker Barrel or no? I'm kidding. I don't know where you guys had breakfast.
It was Denny's, by the way.
Well, Cracker Barrel's going through some shit right now. Stock's down 17% today. But, hey, no, but you were at Denny's?
No, I was in a Denny's, yeah.
I was going to say, because we were chatting before coming on air. It had to have been one of 3 places for breakfast.
Right, yeah.
Cracker Barrel, Denny's, or Waffle House. Or IHOP, maybe 4. I'm sorry, 4.
Well, it wasn't midnight, and we weren't drunk to go to Waffle House. So.
I used to go to Denny's on the road a lot when I was traveling for security stuff.
Yeah.
So weird hours, and I'm carrying a gun. It's always open, and It's probably a good place to carry a gun, right?
Sure is.
And I got what I call the Dan Slam, which is 6 eggs, 6 pieces of bacon, and 6 pieces of sausage.
So they knew your order
The
before you
Dan
came?
Slam.
Oh, yeah.
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 I'm going to go to
Word got around,
our
yeah.
local Denny's and ask for that.
I don't know if it's been
No, I know.
10 years.
It's been, so when you were there, did you take your son? He's 6 months old.
No, not at all. In fact, so here's what I did. Like our families had kind of hung out for 6 months. Like me and him hung out, like we were getting to know each other. And it really reached the point, I mean, I'm 30 years old, I'm an adult, and I'm just like, I really want to know what this guy has to say. Like, I really, really did. So I asked him out to dinner.
Oh, you know, D'Anthony, we got some sponsors to put the shit wagon on the air. First and foremost, bioproteintech.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros. Get you $30 off your first order. Guys, here's why your hormones suck. Most guys are focused on testosterone, but that's not even half the puzzle. In order to absorb testosterone optimally, you must have adequate growth hormone. More specifically, its end result growth factors. Unfortunately, growth hormone decreases every year after puberty, which may explain your poor performance in the gym, excess body fats, or even your poor performance in the bedroom. Sorry about it, Larry. That's where BioPro Plus comes in. BioPro Plus gives you back those growth factors naturally, giving you HGH-like results with 0 needles, 0 side effects, and 0 doctor visits, all at a fraction of the cost of prescription treatments. So, if you want to fix the way you perform, look, and feel without all the risk of the big pharma synthetic stuff, head on over to bioproteintech.com to learn more, or click the link in the audio and video description. Just make sure to use that promo code Drinkin' Bros to get $30 off your first order. It's just like the video, Bob. Pop it up there. Everybody watching the video on Spotify right now. 30 individual vials get dropped off at your house once a month. You put them right underneath your tongue. You'll feel a sting in the morning right before a workout. I take mine before night-night. No idea why it helps me go to sleep better, but I keep using it, and it's been about 1.5 years, and I feel great. Skin looks great. Mustache looks even better, for Christ's sake, so it must be working. Check out bioproteintech.com today to learn more, and if you do use it, use that promo code Drinkin' Bros for $30 off your first deposits. Next up, we got AmericanFinancing.net/Drinkin' Bros. All right, this is for all you homeowners out there. Prices for the last few years have been high, continue to be high. Fuck off, Jerome Powell. Lower the goddamn interest rates, all right? It's killing all of us. A lot of us have had to reach for plastic to cover bills and everything else in our life. Well, now you don't have to. If you own a home, you can just take a little bit of home equity out. That percentage is coming in at about 7.5% to 8%, whereas your credit cards on average are coming in at about 20 to 30%. Automatically, that's going to save you about $800 a month in interest when you call and let American Financing help you. American Financing can help all those homeowners pay off the high interest debt by using their home's equity. They're a family-owned company. They've been a mortgage lender for 25 years. They've been around for these guys. And also, the most important thing about this company, by the way, is that they're salary-based. There's no incentive for any of these jackasses to put you in a loan that doesn't make any sense for you or anything like that, like a lot of these other companies do. They don't. So you can call for free and ask them, hey, dude, how much can I save on this? If you like the number, great. If you don't, no problem. But at least you know there's another solution out there. Also, you may be able to close in as fast as 10 days. You might be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments, creating more savings up front. They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings, and it's reflected in their reviews on Google. Call today at 866-887-2275. That is 866-887-2275 or AmericanFinancing.net/Drinkin' Bros. Their Better Business Bureau disclaimer is NMLS 182334 at NMLSconsumeraccess.org. If you forgot my lovely ad reads and descriptions, Bob puts all of them in the audio and video description. So check them out now.
And we went out to dinner, and I think my dad, he knew exactly why I was asking him to dinner. So we're at dinner and we're having small talk, and he looks at me, he goes, "So why'd you really invite me to dinner? What questions do you have?" And I was like, and like I said, I had talked to him often enough. We didn't have animosity or anything like that. And I said, "Listen, man," I was like, "I just want to have this conversation once, just once, and then we don't ever have to talk about it again." I was like, "But here's what I need to know." I was like, "What the hell happened when I was little, like when I was a baby? What the hell happened when I was 12? Like, and how in that, why did you leave? Like, I don't understand this. Like, just explain to me what happened." And he did. And you know, that was 20 years ago. And I'll tell you the details, but what I can tell you is we've had a couple more conversations about it. But yeah, going back to your question, is we've decided life is short. My dad's 70. He just turned 76 yesterday, and I don't know how much longer he has here. But for the past 20 years, it's been a relationship of like, the past was the past. Let's figure out how to make this thing work with the time we have, and that has been the focus.
And did he say that, or did you guys come to that decision together?
We came to that decision together.
Okay.
I think that's a smart thing. There are only two choices in the repair phase. You decide that the past is the past, or you don't talk to that person again. Those are the only two choices you can make. There's so many of these continuously toxic relationships between parents and children, older parents, younger children, adults, right? They're just like, put up with them. You know, it's still my dad, it's still my mom. It's like, you need to decide to recover from that and move on, or not participate, right? Why you wouldn't do that in any other way, right? We don't keep walking on the coals. There's an end to that. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
And one of the things that I'll say, I don't know if I've ever said this on the show before, but one of the reasons Dan and I, many reasons that him and I get along so well, is we both had no problem cutting off family members. Where I never talked to him again, and you did the same thing. And like, I always viewed it as, you can't really pick who your family is, but you can control if you want them to be in your lives on a daily fucking basis. And that's a tough decision for a lot of people. I don't look at it like they're still alive. Some of these people are still alive, and I just don't like them. I just don't like the decisions they made. And I'm like, cool, man, I just don't want to have any contact with you. Well,
I think that's actually an important part of the evolutionary process. It's called kin selection. Kin is the only old-timey word that everybody still uses next to kin. It's really funny that we still say that.
K-I-N, right?
Yeah, it's like some hillbilly word. But kin selection is where a person will act, even if it's not in their own best interest, to benefit people that are not even related to them, but they feel like it's part of their group. It's like a evolutionary psychological phenomenon that happens. And typically it happens when you see value in what that other person either brings to your life or to the community, right? And that's how we select our family as we go through actual life, right? I mean, that's typically how it is. The family that you're born with sometimes is the one, there are big families out there that still meet throughout the year, and they'll do that for the rest of their lives. And there are people that hang out with their friends.
Yeah, or their immediate family.
Yeah,
where
that's what I'm saying. It's one or the other, right? Or it should be. If you're alone, you shouldn't be alone.
I know a lot of people though who want to have these huge like family reunions every year, and it's like I was just chatting with an investor, had us send some HardAF Seltzer up, and I was like, what is this for? Because I knew the location, and I was like, usually it's like a big family reunion or like family, get together place, and he goes, that's what we're here for. We do this family reunion every single year, and I was like, man, I have zero desire for bullshit like that. I love my immediate family and everything else, but like, as far as a family reunion, okay, cool. Because you get to a certain age where, like you were saying, when you were 30, you have kids, you have a wife, you have your own life, you got your own job, you've got your own problems and everything else, that it's like, awesome, man, you were 20 years younger than me. I don't really know you that well or have that much in common with you. I can't text or keep up with you or all that other stuff. A father's a different story, though, where, I mean, shit. you choose to make that decision or not, especially as a man.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you've got to make. I think it's the immediate family is an initial decision, but you should branch out from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's this old proverb. I don't even know where it comes from because everybody takes credit for it. But societies grow great when old men plant trees under which the shade of which they'll never sit, right? And part of that is investing in your own culture and community so that it thrives and survives into the future. This is how humanity's been set up for as long as we've been able to speak. We borrow honor from the past. My dad was this. My great-grandfather was this. Religion or ethnicity, or he did this thing in the war, whatever the fuck. And we try to live our lives to this standard where people in our future can borrow it from us again, right? And it was a really good system. It was a very good system, and it made sure that we did all these things that we do. It's another one of those things that just happened naturally that was very good for us that we've now lost because of a number of technology or just the busyness of life or whatever, or the separation of the modern family that is irreplaceable in my opinion, and we got to find a way to do that again.
Yeah, I agree, because when I became a dad, so I've got 3 kids, I wanted to take the best of everything I learned or everything else and then kind of apply that to my children. And I'll say this, and I've said it in the past, either on this show or others, it's the most rewarding thing you can possibly do is to become a father.
I agree.
The rest of it, you really realize is kind of bullshit. You know, obviously you got to take care of your family and put food on the table and provide for them and all that other stuff, and that's obviously important. But their lives, and more importantly, how you're going to shape their lives as a father, is extremely important, because they could be pieces of shit just because you were a piece of shit, and it is all on you. You know, now some kids like you are able to shake it and become normal adults and everything else, but let's say you didn't run into your dad at that Starbucks at 30 years old. Then what happens? What kind of regret do you have? Do you ever think about that aspect of it? And if you didn't have that relationship to this day, because you said you just turned 50, so you've known your dad again essentially for 20 years, I'm assuming, because you stayed in touch throughout that 20-year cycle.
Yeah, I talk to him all the time still.
Do you ever think back if I don't go to Starbucks that day or I don't have that fucking meeting, do I ever see my father ever again, and do we ever have this relationship?
Yeah, because it's 5 years after that you that the alarm bells go off for you in your own life. I think it's when your son's 4, your first one, right?
So my oldest was 6, my youngest was 4 at the time.
7 years after.
Yeah, but to be honest, like I don't know. Like, it's a good point. Like, would I be doing what I'm doing? You know, still to this day. I don't know. I don't know if I would.
I mean, do you have the dad edge? Do you host a podcast about dads? Do you write a book about dads?
Yeah, but you could ask that.
Don't walk into that Starbucks.
You could ask that if he never got the injury in the first place. Would any of this have ever happened? Would you have been a mediocre man at that point, or a mediocre father?
Yeah, that's a great question, because do you discuss that in the book too? Because that all of this shapes not only who you are, but again, is who you were going to be as a dad with your wife, who's sitting off screen.
I'm convinced that had I not run into my dad that day, I don't know if any of this would have happened, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on what you've done and everything else.
Well, not just that, though. Like, if the circumstances in your childhood had not been the same, you're probably not doing this either. And you know, it's a good, as Adler would call it, a positive reframe that, it kind of sucked. I mean, it didn't kind of suck. It sucked out loud for a long time. And now I'm able to benefit a lot of people. You know what I mean? This is not new information. Every cloud has a silver lining is not a new phrase, right? But it is true. It is a very true thing, and it's up to you to determine whether or not that's going to be the case or not. So this is just about. I was going to ask you about that meeting and how it played a role, but also the let's just call it what it is, 2 abandonments basically, and what role that played in you getting into this.
So I think there's always been. Here's the crazy thing. So, like, I remember, like, I met my wife back in college, and I remember just the way that I kind of grew up and my view of marriage and parenting and all that. Like, I remember, like, telling my wife in college, like, I don't know if I'll ever get married. Like, that was kind of my view.
Because of how you grew up?
Because of how I grew up. And there was a part of me that I wanted kids, but there was probably a bigger part of me that was really didn't want them, or was so terrified to the point of having kids that I was just like, I'm going to screw this up. And the thing about it too, like, the intimacy that I had with that feeling of like, you know, like there was a laundry list of guys. There's a revolving door of guys who came in and out of my life, you know, from a father figure perspective. And I was like, I don't want to do that to a kid. I actually thought the first step to divorce was getting married. Like I literally thought every marriage ends in divorce. Like I thought, like I was like, why would you get married? Because every marriage ends in divorce. Like you just move on to the next marriage. Like it just seems ridiculous to me to even get married. Like that was kind of my view. And then, you know, when I did get, I mean, Jess and I knew each other. My wife and I knew each other for 7 years before we got married. Like all of her.
Did she eventually just say, "Hey, bro, we're either doing this or I gotta hop on down the bunny trail"? That's what usually happens.
I see her over there grinning. So like, I think it got up to the point. I mean, she'd correct me if I'm wrong, but like I just remember like early in her 20s, like all of her friends were getting married and we weren't. You know, and I remember she was being insanely patient at the same time, like because she kind of knew my background and but I remember her kind of like checking in about it, like, hey, do you think we're gonna have a future together? Like, do you think we'll end up together? Like, it wasn't like, hey, are we gonna get married or not? It was more like, do we have a future together? And but I think that was more or less her way of like, is this gonna work out or not? Because if not, I think she was like, I need to do something else. If not, But that was her way of doing it.
Well, that's a good. I mean, again, I'm maybe reframing this in a positive light. But we were on Citizen earlier. We were talking about some of these struggles that you have and the ability to communicate frankly about what you're feeling, even when it's not positive, right?
Yeah.
And having somebody on the other end of that conversation, excuse me, that's able to receive that. That if you're looking for, what are they called, green flags? If you're looking for a green flag in another human being, that might be the most important one you'll ever see, right? The ability to just sit there and listen to you and understand what you're saying.
I don't blame women for asking that question of men after a certain period of time, because let's face it, a lot of women want to have children, and they want to know, you got a limited window there. Hey, bro, are we doing this or not? Because if not, I want to have a child. I want to be a mom. I want to raise a family. If you're not the guy, stop stringing me along for this bullshit, because it's starting to get too deep. And then as the years tick on, especially in your 30s, that's when it kind of ends.
Yeah.
So I actually understand that from a woman's perspective. And then I think as a man, you're almost required to give that answer, because if not, you're fucking over their life, because time is just ticking away, and they don't have that much time to have birth, to give children to the world and everything else.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So what was the deciding factor for you guys?
For me and my wife? We had been together for a while. I mean, I loved her more than anything. Here's the crazy thing. I'm crazy about my wife. I'm actually more crazy about her even now than I was then. It's like every year we're together, we get closer. But even back then, this is really weird. But back then, I was like, this girl is awesome. Like, this girl's awesome. Like, it's like she's literally everything that I want. And like, this was like maybe my protective like child psychology of some degree. I don't really know what was going on, but I was like, maybe I should find somebody else that I don't care about as much to get married to them, because when we get divorced, it won't hurt as bad.
Look, I've heard that from some of my friends before. It's not that crazy. Yeah. And I was at I was at a dinner once with one of my best friends, and in their relationship, the mom and dad were married for 35 years, and then the dad just woke up and said, "Hey, you know what? I hate my job. I hate this life, and I want to go and just explore life." And she was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
and we just left.
Yeah, they got divorced, and waited until the kids went to college, got divorced, and then wanted to live his quote unquote dream life. Yeah, and it influenced the way my buddy grew up a lot. And at this dinner, he was dating this girl, and he goes, she looks at him, the mom of the child looks at him and goes, "You gonna marry this girl?" And was like, "Whoa." I mean, they've been dating for like 4 or 5 years at this point. And she goes, "Because if not, she's a beautiful woman and she's an awesome person. I think she'd be an awesome mom. You're going to waste her fucking time. So why don't you give her an answer right here at this dinner?" And I was just like, holy shit.
What was the answer?
The answer was no. And then the mom said, because I don't think my son is the right person for you. And I respect you too much to see you go into this relationship and potentially give up not having children for. Never seen anything like that in my life.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Because she had went through it.
Yeah.
That she was trying to pass this on to this woman. And she was right. At the end of the day, he's still not.
Maybe spend a little time trying to make your son better, right?
Well, she did. And this was by the way, this had happened in a previous relationship. And another one before that, long term, where it was like 5-6 years of like, okay, cool, man. And on the third one, she was just like, I'm not going to see another awesome girl go through this.
Well, that's the
weird, man.
That's the choice that we're all faced with as adults, especially men, is whether to carry that little boy injury into everything we do. Mm-hmm. You get that it's your choice to make, and only you can make it. Nobody can force you to do it, and nobody can really help you get out of it except for yourself. And you have to decide to do it. And as an added benefit, I think this is how we derive typically the first principles that are dearest to us, right? So because the way to get out of this is to reduce it. That's how you deal with any kind of psychological stress, is to reduce it down to what the injury did to me, what I've learned about that, and what that can mean for other people. That's how you deal with that situation. And until you go through that process, then you'll never be a whole person, right?
Right.
Because you'll never be able to communicate the lessons you learned to your wife or children until you go through that process, ever.
That's good.
And I also think the lessons that you can learn from other people earlier on in life will help you either carry out or influence the rest of your life in a positive or negative way. And it depends on who those people are at that time. And if you meet the wrong people who are friends or family members who give you the wrong advice at that time, it could influence the rest of your life and either fuck it up or really help it.
Yeah.
And you got lucky that day, that Starbucks, man. I mean, what the fuck, dude? What are the chances?
I don't. When I tell this story, people are like, "Dude, that sounds like a Netflix movie."
It does. It seems like a Lifetime movie.
It actually sounds like The Adjustment Bureau. Have you ever seen that movie?
Mm-mm. No, I haven't
You
seen
should watch it.
Oh wait, is that where there's like new identities or something like that?
No, there's. It's about 46 robotic dogs who attack a small Asian kid, and then he ends up creating a whole computer system for the dogs where he overpowers them, and yeah, it's super fucking crazy, man. I know, I don't.
That is. Did you make that up just on the fly?
That's off the cuff. I was waiting for Ryan to hit that Asian button, but
he's
new
here.
here.
My wife right now.
He's winding up.
Oh shit! I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, well, that's what. But that's what the Asian, said to the dogs, the robotic dogs, and then they all.
No, it's Matt Damon and John Krasinski's wife. What's her name?
Oh, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt and Sam Mackie.
I haven't
You
seen
should
that.
watch
Yeah,
it. It's a
I
very
haven't
good
seen
movie.
And by the way, I already feel like I know you, which is why I'm able to joke around with you like this, because you were on Real Ones with John Bernthal, and he's one of my favorites. Too.
I like Bernthal.
I don't think he does that podcast anymore, but
so he's on.
Well, he's been
right
filming
now.
because he's doing Punisher.
Yeah.
again.
He's doing everything again.
Yeah, he's
a fantastic actor.
Yeah, they just did the number 2 for The Accountant. That's out. He did the junket for that, and then right into the new Punisher series he's filming right now.
But he gets to the heart and the realness of all of this. So like I feel like if I've known you already, where it's like, so yeah, it's strange. And then the story you told today, I was like, Jesus Christ. Now if you're telling me that dinner with your dad took place in an Olive Garden, I'm gonna walk right the fuck on out of here.
It's so weird.
I know. I used to work there.
Before you did the massive karate chop, which was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
I had to tell you that my wife would get a kick out of the fact that you can pull these stories out of thin air, because she tells me all the time, she's like, where do you come up, like, because I do the same thing at home. She's like, where in God's name do you come up with this stuff? It's like so dumb, it's somewhat believable, like to some degree.
I think mine's only child. When you're an only child, you had nothing but time on your hands.
I was
friends.
an only child.
Were you really?
I am my dad's only son and my mom's only son, and I have 2 half brothers. Yeah.
God, I'll freak you out even more.
Yeah.
I said the same thing about my wife on a show the other day, where I feel like every year we've been together, relationship has been better every single year.
That's wild, man.
Yes.
That's so funny.
But you should, and here's why. So somebody asked me, they were like, why do you feel that way? And I said, because my appreciation as our kids get older, as a mom, a cook, everything everything else starts to grow when you see how difficult their job is, and you know that they're going to influence your kids' lives. And let's face it, as men, we're working and trying to provide and help out. So you're not there as much as the mom is. So
yeah, but that's a choice to make too, like to see value in the people that are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a choice that we like. This is something you see this in workplaces a lot. In times of high stress, everybody thinks they're the only one doing any work. And at times of high stress in your relationship, everybody thinks they're the only ones doing any work. It's literally the exact same thing. And just taking the initiative. And I'm not saying oh, I appreciate dinner tonight, but show real appreciation. You know what I mean? Like, you did this, I'm doing this. Go do the dishes or whatever the fuck other thing that takes something off of her plate. Like, oh, maybe it's 2 days later. I appreciate what you've been doing this week. I'm going to take the kids out for a while. Go fucking do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Just make it a point to be intentional about showing your appreciation for those things. And typically the result is going to be that those things get done even harder and better than they were before. Like, it's literally an immediate ROI on that.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes like an awakening for you to see it and what's going on, and it happened with me. It was an event that got rained out, and we were with the kids and my wife and everything else, and the kids are freaking out and they couldn't see their friends and couldn't do this and this and this, and like, I'm looking at this because we got 3. And I'm looking at my wife, and they're just running around screaming, and they're crying, and they're sad, and all this other shit's going. And I looked at her, and it was my own. I haven't had a day off in a long time, and I was like, because we're on every single day. And I looked at her, and I go, "Is this what you go through every day?" And she goes, "Every single day."
Every day.
And we put the kids down, and it was just her and I sitting, and we were having she was having wine, I was having some HardAF Seltzer, and I go, "I am so sorry. I didn't see. I had no idea this is what went on, because typically I don't have that day off. It just happened to because the holiday fell on a weird day that time. But I was like, holy shit, I am so fucking sorry. And she was stunned. She was like, what? And I go, yeah, I never got to see it. And I was like, this is crazy. What's going on here?
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it takes those type of moments.
It's like
What are
dealing
the
with
3
drunk
things
people.
women want?
To feel seen, heard, and safe. Yeah, those are 3 needs of a wife.
What is it?
Seen, heard, and safe.
Seen, heard, and safe. Yes.
Expand on that a little bit for the audience.
So I think what you just gave an example of was perfect of being seen. It's like, it's not just like, oh, hey, thanks for dinner.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you so much for everything you've been doing.
And here's some action to back up
Yeah,
those
and
words.
here's,
Yeah.
I'm taking these kids out, you go do your thing. Or it's even just like, not thank you for dinner, but it's like, hey, thank you for making dinner. Like, I know we've got picky kids, like sometimes I can be picky. Like, thank you for like putting some thought into what you've made to make everybody have what they want, like that kind of thing. Or even like when my wife goes to the grocery store, I mean, like she has this thing, you have this thing about when she goes, she's always looking for everybody else's favorite thing, like their food or whatever else. She'll always come home with stuff for other people.
Kids.
And it's kids. So it's like
Yep.
when she comes home, it's like, man, it's like you always are out there searching for everybody else's favorite thing. Like you're always so selfless. Like so something like that scene. Heard. Man, I'll tell you what, I've been doing this work for a decade. I could be better at listening. Like, I feel like that's one of us as dudes, like, it's probably one of our biggest opportunities for improvement is listening. And it's not listening to solve problems. It's not listening to be like the answer or the advice. It's literally just listening to what is it she's feeling. Like, if a guy can actually become if he can become really good at validating and connecting, and that's both, not just validating, but validating and connecting, it's amazing what that will do in your relationship as far as listening goes. So when she's talking, and let's just say she's going through like something really, really tough, right? I know early on in our relationship, like she would vent about something and I would be like, well, you should do this. You should do that. You should do this. And here...
You should calm down.
You should just relax.
Yeah, women love that.
And the only time to ever say that is never.
Yeah, exactly. You say you should calm down?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It's over with,
dude, I'll give you another one.
Set fire to the rain.
If you are married to a stay-at-home mom, the other thing to never say ever is you come home and be like, what'd you do today?
Yeah.
I could laugh about that only because I'm like, wow, I should have never said that.
It is the hardest job in the world. And like until you're around it, like that day that I had, You don't see it on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis. You really take it for granted how hard it is to be a mom, like especially multiple kids. Like, holy shit, it's really difficult. And so,
hard.
yeah, it changes your perspective once you see it. And I 100% agree with what you said. Seen, heard, and like
Seen, heard, and safe. But
Yes.
you know, if I could expand on the last ones, but you know, the heard thing is like just a self-deprecation. Like I remember years and years ago when we would talk, and I would get so frustrated. I'm like, why? Like, just do this, and she'd be like, well, you're not hearing me. I'm like, yeah, I am. I just told you what I think you should do. And I remember getting so frustrated early on in our relationship that I was such an asshole that I literally would say, if you don't want my advice, don't talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I could like kick my own ass for saying dumb shit like that.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not even just dumb shit. It's like things that will stick to them and they never go away.
Yeah.
Truly. Like
and we're all guilty of that.
Well, yeah, every man is, because it doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a place where this is my person. I want to solve this problem. Right?
Exactly.
That's why one, every dude does it, and two, it's so difficult a fucking habit to unbreak.
It is.
Or to break, rather. Excuse me.
Well, in fact, I mean, like if you really think about it, a woman feels most heard when a man is validating her emotion and connecting to her, right? She doesn't feel most heard when he is trying to solve all of her problems, right? In fact,
no, women, physiologically speaking, their cortisol levels go down when they're talking about their problems, whereas when men are talking about their problems, their cortisol levels go up, right? It's like completely opposite.
Yeah. Easily.
It's completely opposite.
Yes.
So just like this idea that we have that I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. I want to solve this problem for you. Well, that's not how she fucking feels, dude. She's just saying the words out loud and having a hand on her shoulder when she's doing it solves the problem in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and it's so
It's fucked
fucking
up.
true. Like today was before we came into work today, in the office of my house, and I'm on a conference call, and I'm screaming at this fucking dude who was late on this thing. It was like a month. It was a shipment that was late, and I was like, fuck this, and this. And my wife had to take the third kid to preschool. And she called me later on the way into work, and she goes, hey, is everything okay? And as I'm explaining my problem, exactly what Dan said, I noticed my voice start to raise, and like as if she was the person that I was talking to in this fucking conference call, that I was like, fuck this, and I catch myself, and I'm like, oh shit, I apologize. You were not the person I'm mad at, by the way. It was the conversation I was on earlier, who was late on this shipment, and it fucking sucks. And she goes, it's all right. She goes, I just wanted to call and check in on you, make sure everything was all right, because I heard you yelling back in the office of the house. And I go, thank you. And I was like, I'm sorry. But I caught myself, and I was going up and up and up. She wasn't the fucking problem.
Well, it's a big problem for like military people and first responders, because you go to your work and you're stressed out. Maybe there's a drive home. Maybe there's, and I encourage people to do this. You've got to have, we talked about this earlier, there's no goal that doesn't have an associated plan. That's not a thing that exists. You can't have one without the other. So if you need something to decompress and not do what you just said, then you need to make that an everyday part of your life. We all do, right? And
yeah.
You're still going to fuck it up, but at least take the time to make that part of your life. Now, for people that are on 10-hour, 12-hour police shifts, I don't know how the fuck these people do it.
I don't either.
And for the people that are, these women that are married to dudes in the military for 20, 30 years, I have no idea how they do that, honestly. Because we're a fucking wreck all the time. All the time. And somehow they manage. It's crazy.
They're fucking champions, dude. Like, holy shit. Because to deal with that on a daily basis, let alone what the men are dealing with when you're overseas or
what the women
on a
are
day-to-day basis.
What the women are dealing with when the men are overseas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm either going to die or I'm not going to die. It's pretty simple for me. I got to do my job, and I'm either going to die or not going to die. And that's a persistent thing for me. For the woman at home, it's like every day she's like, well, is he coming back or not? And it's not a persistent thing, because you go on about your business. You got 3 kids running around. Maybe you're working or whatever the fuck, and you've got other stuff going on. And then you come back to it every night. Every night when your body's supposed to calm down and be relaxed by this heavy breathing, deep voiced man next to you, instead you've got silence and anxiety for years.
Yeah.
Some of these, through the GWAT, I have buddies that deployed 8, 9, 10 times for anywhere between 4 months and a year at a time on average. It's like, how the fuck have you dealt with this? I don't understand. And if you went through all that, I highly recommend checking in on yourself from time to time and make sure you did deal with it and aren't just fucking living on the edge, because that's fucked. I mean, it's rough.
It is. And then with your wife, like, when was the point that you were like, okay, cool, I think I figured this out. I think everything's good, and I'm ready to be a better person.
So if we do a podcast in 10 years, I'll probably have an answer for you on that one. And
You guys been together for how long now at this point?
no, we've been married for 22 years.
I was going to say, for the video listeners, the reason why I keep looking off is she's sitting back there, and I see her laughing and get like a little bit where she's like, yeah, dude. Look at that. Fucking host of the Dad Edge is finally getting his shit, dude. He's getting his job. He's getting justice today. Justice for her. No, I'm kidding. But it does, because in my opinion, it does take years for if you're in a long-term relationship. I'm on 14 years. I think you're on 22, you said, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think you have it figured out during the first 5 years as a dude.
Oh, God, no.
I think women do before us, and then as a dude, you maybe start to figure it out, and then there's usually something that changes where you're just like, oh, fuck, man. Was I an asshole? Was I this, that, or the other? And then it's your choice to correct it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that get married, and it's all perfect, and it's perfect all the way to the end. I don't know that I've ever met somebody like that. Have you?
I have, and they're usually not aware that there's so many problems that are under. No, I'm kidding. I've never met a person like that.
Oh, I was like, yo.
No. To answer your question, though, like, have I figured it out or whatever? I'll tell you about a moment that I had that really kicked this whole thing off. So, like, I married Jess in 2003, and then we had our first son in 2006. And it wasn't until 2012 that I finally sort of had this realization I need to get my shit together. So we're married for almost 10 years, 2 boys, and there were 3 promises that I made myself when I got married. I'm like, okay, I'm married. Like, came from this crazy ass childhood and all that, but I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna get it right. So I'm gonna be a good husband, right? I'm gonna be a patient father, and I'm never gonna hit my kids out of anger, right? And I broke all 3 of those, all 3. I was a disaster husband. I didn't know how to communicate. I always joke with Jess. I was like, you're the most forgiving, patient person. I was like, I would have given up on me a long time ago. But, like, communication was off. Like, I wasn't mean. I wasn't abusive or anything like that. I was just, like, I was an immature mess that didn't know how to communicate, right? And I was making all the rookie mistakes. I definitely wasn't patient with my kids. And then Dad Edge got started. My son was 4. He's 17 now. I wouldn't dare fuck with him now because he's
bigger than you.
He's huge. He's the starting center on his varsity football team.
We could probably take them together.
If he's the center, though.
I mean, you came from military and you're like, you have firearms and stuff. So I think I'd have a good shot.
You're gonna trank him.
Yeah, I mean, he could hold him down.
How much does he weigh?
I'll tickle him.
He weighs 200 pounds, but he's wiry, just joined the 1,000-pound club at his high school. So squat.
Yep.
Bench.
We had that at ours too.
And clean.
I couldn't do it.
Not deadlift.
I didn't make it. Yeah.
So, like, he does 1,000 pounds with those 3 lifts, but he.
You get a T-shirt.
He got a T-shirt.
Yeah. I didn't get the T-shirt.
Yeah. I'm having my boy send you one. It'll say Liberty on it.
Yeah,
but
he
that's
can sign it for you.
Yeah, I was 160 in high school. Dude was a senior, so no, I didn't get that shit. Yeah.
But he's 4 at the time. He stepped out of line one night, and I had a really bad day at work that day. I lost one of my biggest customers that day. We were getting ready to move, so I'm like packing up his playroom, and I was in a bad mood. He comes walking down as I'm packing up his playroom. I'd been working on it for like 3 hours, and I was taking a break. And I said, hey, Dad's going to go take a break. I've packed up all these toys. Don't mess with anything in the boxes. You can play with these over here. And this is like rookie. Like, I wouldn't even think that you put a 4-year-old in a playroom with a bunch of boxed up toys. The toys are not going to be pulled out. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking.
You can't even pack bags and go on a trip without those assholes pulling all the clothes out and throwing it on the ground.
And somehow they'll get into like padded locks in some way. I don't know, but anyway.
Markers.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
But anyway, so I come back downstairs, and he had pulled out tons of stuff. And in a fit of rage, I turn this boy around, and I just slap him on the rear end. And he fell. Like, he lost his balance and fell because I hit him so hard. And I immediately was like, oh my God, like what did I just do? But that wasn't the worst. The worst was when I went to go grab him. And I like went to pick him back up. And he looked at me and just closed his eyes and just did this and just shuddered, like, please don't hurt me again. And I've told this story like 1,000 times. It always gets to me because I still see that kid's face. And I think the reason that it got to me so badly is because I remember growing up and I remember men hitting me and wishing that they would stop. So, and then I'd hit him and he looked at me like exactly how I like looked at these dudes growing up. And that was it. That night, I went into my office and I got on my laptop and I'm on Facebook because as an adult, right, when you have a bad moment, you get on Facebook to distract yourself so you can go see everybody else's great life and distract yourself from your own. And I saw this button in the left-hand corner and it said create a page. It's like 13 years ago. I had no idea what a page was. But dude, I clicked it and it said, what do you want to name your page? And I just said the Good Dad Project. And I was the project. I was the one that needed the help. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done trying to wing this. I'm done. I'm done not having a plan. I have this goal, but I have no plan.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. What would it look like if I learned it? Like, what would it look like can I actually learn some of these skills, like patience? Can I learn how to be a better husband? Can I learn how to be a better dad? Is it actually possible? Can I learn these things? And I created that page, and I just was like, I'm going to go out every day and learn one new thing, just one. That's it. And I'm just going to post it here. And I never did it for a following. I just did it for myself, just to have like this sort of like public accountability, like this journal in a way. And that started to get a big following. And then about a year later, I started a blog. And then 2015, I started the podcast. And that's when I really started to learn. And man, over the past 10 years, it's been one of the most incredible educational things of my life. I mean, I gave up a extremely lucrative career in medical device sales.
You could have been looking at those feet all day.
Yeah.
I could have been looking at those feet all day.
But hey, one of my best friends is in medical sales. That money is sick.
It's a lot of money.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, and I left, and I decided to do this work almost 5 years ago, and full time. And I'll tell you, I wish I would have left earlier.
Was your wife supportive at the time?
She was.
You're lucky.
Yeah. So this is how great my wife is. And you talk about seen, heard, and safe, right? Women need to feel safe. Like they have to feel like, hey, we're good, right? We can pay our bills. Like also, like, and I had built up the organization enough to where like I could leave if I wanted to, but I felt like there was a part of me that was like, well, I'm dumb and irresponsible if I do that. But then I did decide to quit, and I'll never forget. It was May 5th, 2000. Actually, it's been 4 years. 2021. I went out in the kitchen. I had just put in my resignation, and I went out to the kitchen. And I was like, so I just quit my job, and I was literally that year I was on point to make the most money I ever have in my entire career. And she looked at me. She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I quit." And
whoa, you didn't discuss this with her before?
We had many conversations, and she basically was just like, like, I think you've got it built up to like anytime, we're good, but like, just make sure that we're good. Which we were. And she's like, you did? And I was like, yeah, I did. And she goes, what happens now? And I was like, what changes? And I was like, and Jessica pays all the bills and I make all the money. And so I was just like, well, in your world, nothing really. I was like, I'll just pay us from the business now. So like, this money will be moved over here once a month. And she's like, so nothing really changes? And I was like, not really, no. And she's like, awesome, cool. So you'll be home more? And I'm like, yeah, great. Like that was her response.
Here's a list of shit that I need done.
Yeah, you got to go to HEB on the streets and yet I can't believe it's not butter, and you won't believe.
Don't eat that. It's
Yeah.
fucking whipped
You will
hydrogenated
not
oil. Do
believe
not
it's
eat
not
that.
butter. I know
Yeah.
it tastes. Like I
No.
didn't believe it.
Do
wasn't.
not eat it.
Yeah.
Do not eat it under any
believe it's not butter.
circumstances
That's
ever.
great.
No, but it's that's amazing because we have a lot of people that come through here. We leave the doors open for our listeners to come in and drink and all that other stuff. And a lot of the times, a lot of the dudes say the same thing of like, man, I'd love to be doing this. However, my wife doesn't support it.
Yeah.
And you're really lucky.
Yeah.
Because,
I am.
holy shit. If not, then,
Yeah.
you know.
I would also
it
say
can
that
ruin a relationship.
we do this thing at the end of the shows called Drinkin' Bro of the Week, who's like somebody that's helped you or whatever, inspired you, or just in general, somebody you want to shout out. The most common is one or the other of the parents, and I said the second
Dad.
most common. Yeah, dad is the most common.
Dad
Mom
is number one.
sometimes. The second most common is the wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Usually, right?
Yeah.
It's like, there's our buddy Josh Smith, same story. He was a lineman in Montana, right? Which is pays really well, but it's a fucked up job, and there's no such thing as holidays because holidays are when storms happen, and that's when linemen have to go work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a stressful job, especially in a place like Montana that gets really butt fucked by the weather every single year. And some point around the same time, actually, a little bit, couple months before you, he is a master knife maker. And she was like, look, this is probably a good time for you to get out there and start this fucking business and use your skills. Like, it was her. Well, I mean, he always wanted to do it, but it was her that kind of encouraged him to do it. Having somebody like that in your corner is pretty invaluable.
Is this Montana Knife Company?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, we were just talking about advertisers on a show last week, and the difference between them. Some people think when you leave, or when an advertiser leaves, like maybe they weren't happy or anything else. It's like, no, with Montana Knives, like they're growing so quickly that they're pouring all their money into. I think it's a 10,000 square foot facility.
75,000.
Shut the fuck up!
Wow. That's
God
crazy,
damn it, dude. That's hard to wrap your mind around. That's like first form.
It's like a Walmart.
Shit. That's even bigger than I thought. But with that, he's just like, hey, man, we got to dump all the money in this. And I was like, dude, we totally get it, man, because we love them. And we love the Montana Knives. But with his wife, same thing. They're at all the events together. She pushed him into doing it. And if you don't have that person in your corner,
It's impossible.
it's impossible. And for podcasting, it was my wife. She was the one who was like, man, I think the move is in this. She was listening to podcasts first. And she's like, I think this is the pivot. And this was like in 2014. 15, and you know, at that time I was working on a movie with these guys, and I was like, hey, we all get along, we're all fucking rad, and like podcast is relatively new, so we all did it together, and then you know it grew and grew and grew and all the other stuff, but it was her that did it. If you have a woman that you're married to, or even a girlfriend at the time, who doesn't encourage what you do in this life or doesn't believe in it, it can affect your career path or even life, like in general, like everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and that should be that's something you should definitely pay attention to in any relationship, like even your friends, right? But as a man, you shouldn't wait around for that. You should be the one guiding that, right? We talk about it from time to time, but these people that refer to themselves as Sigma males these days, that like women are objects or property and have no value, and why would you ever get married or do this or do that? Which is not a Sigma male. Sigma male is the man in the arena, standing up and saying "fuck you" when everybody else is accepting whatever nonsense is happening. That's the man in the arena. But that is that's a child. You know what I mean? That's a 5-year-old. That's how 5-year-olds think. So it's your job as the man to set the conditions for that. You have a woman that you wouldn't be with her unless you were getting something from her. Maybe it's toxic, maybe it's not. But if it's good and things aren't going the way you think they should be, it's on you to fucking course correct that, not on her. She's a woman. And I'm not saying that to demean women. I'm saying that because you're the goddamn leader of the household.
Yep.
It's your job to get in there and not make it about yourself, not get butthurt when she has criticism of you, but instead rise to that challenge, right? That's don't say iron sharpened the iron in the gym if you can't say it in your fucking personal life.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it that that Warren Farrell says? They did this psychological test where 85% of women, if the kids, or maybe it was 95% of women, if the kids weren't at risk, would die for their husband, and then vice versa. The numbers are equally. It's pretty equal. It's somewhere in the mid-90s. And he says something to the effect of, if you can die for your significant other, you can probably sit there and listen to them, right?
Makes sense.
Like, let's be reasonable as human beings here. If you can make the one sacrifice that's easy for you to make, right, because you feel it's noble, maybe you can also do the other thing. So we all have. It's people. Sometimes people listen to this and be like, "Oh, you say this, but you did that." I'm like, yeah, I fuck up every single day. What are you talking about? I tripped earlier, like an asshole, but I've been walking my whole life. It's that. What does that mean? You know what I mean? So, what I would recommend, and we talked about this earlier as well, is setting up guardrails for yourself. The thing that makes the American system of government so good, despite the condition it gets in from time to time, is that it's designed to be self-correcting. And that is how you should design your personal life as well. And you can't just make the design and walk away from it. You design and refine and whatever, but you also have to execute on it. I've made these guardrails, one of which, the silly one that I give the example for all the time, is if you don't want to eat junk food, don't buy it. If it's not in your house, you're not going out at midnight to get it. You're just going to go back to sleep or eat an apple or some shit, right? Create guardrails, expect good results, and then adjust to bad ones, I guess. And if somebody else has got something to say about that, fuck them. This is... There are so many people who, because of, I don't even know what it is, embarrassment or shame or something, won't be affectionate with their significant other, or won't share things with them, or won't do this or that because of how somebody else may feel about it. What the fuck are you talking about? Why is there a third party involved in my relationship? That's very bizarre to me. So we just let all these outside influences get in, and it doesn't make any sense. Your job as the man is to move all that shit out of the way. And I say this as not just in your personal relationship, but in every conversation you have. It is leached so far into our national political discourse now that if you were a Democrat and I was a Republican, I don't even know what you believe. I have no idea. I know what they told me you believe. I have no idea what you believe, right? And this is poison. Connectivity between human beings happens on a one-on-one level. So I have to say, okay, so you're a Democrat. What actually do you believe? Or you're a libertarian, or you're a fucking whatever, right? What is it that you actually believe? And listen. And say, well, I don't believe that. I believe this. I was like, all right, cool. Well, at least we know what each other believes now. Yeah. We didn't hear it from Fox or CNN.
Right.
That's stupid on a very large scale. But when you bring that into your household, that seems like, I don't understand how we allow that to happen. But we do get it. We fall into that trap sometimes.
Yeah, and the other trap too is what you were talking about earlier is with Instagram. You look at everybody else's quote unquote perfect lives.
You look at a curated life.
Yep.
Which
and
is
it's not real. None of it's real. We all make mistakes every single day. And, you have opinions about one thing, let's say 10 years ago, and it should be changing, hopefully. If you're growing as a person and all that other shit, and then to hold on to this one stupid thing just because you want to hold on to it, you realize that fucking sucks later in life, and yeah, all of it. But I also think that's a huge part of your success. Is you were one of the first people early on to get out there on a podcast and on the internet and everything else and be like, you know what, man, I'm not fucking perfect. I'm not, even the stories you were sharing today about not being the best dad, not being the best. There's a lot of men and dudes that don't want to admit that. You've changed a lot of people's lives by doing that, whether you know it or not. I'm sure it's hard to accept. I know it's hard for Dan and I when people come in here and say, oh my God, dude, I listen to you every day and it changes my life. It's like, shit, man, we didn't know,
Yeah.
But it is important, and in particular this topic, because a dad and your mom will shape the rest of your life potentially. So the fact that you were able to come out of it on the other side, write this book, and have this successful podcast and this life and a great wife and everything else is pretty fucking incredible.
Thanks, man.
And the book is called Larry Hagner, is obviously the author, The Pursuits of Legendary Fatherhood. Bob's, there it is. There's the right cover. Legendary Fatherhood. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on today.
Thanks for having me, man.
And as Dan said earlier, we do this thing called the Drinkin' Bro of the Week. at the end of the show, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who'd you like to give the Drinking Bro of the Week to?
So can I give it to two or just one?
Sure can.
Okay, so I'll give it to two. One is definitely my wife. You are my best friend. You are the best wife, best mom. But thank you for always supporting me. I even look back on that time where I'm like, yeah, I just quit my job and this is how much I'll be making this year. And she was like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, we'll be good, right? And so support like that does not come very often.
No.
The second person is I might not have had a very good father figure in my immediate family. My mom's dad, my grandfather on my mom's side, that guy deserves the Drinking Bro of the Week. He's no longer here. He passed away in 1998. That man only lived a mile from me growing up, and I think he saw what was happening. He never said a word directly. But man, that guy stepped up. Like, he picked me up every day after school. Anytime he was doing any manual labor or anything around the house, hey, Larry, come over here. Let me help Papa. And it was his way of teaching me. He taught me how to fish. Most importantly, that man taught me how to love a woman. My grandfather was a blue-collar truck driver. Like, he was a man's man, but he was also insanely loving and affectionate at the same time. And my grandfather would sit there after 50 years of being with my grandmother and sit there at the table with her every day and just pat her hand and be like, you're so beautiful. I just love you. And she would just light up. Or she would walk by and he'd smack her on the rear end and pull her on his lap. He's like 70 years old and he would do this stuff and kiss her on her cheek. And I got to see that growing up all the time. So while my house was this crazy environment, my grandfather's house, my grandma and grandpa's house was not. And like I said, he never said it. I just got to watch him. And his life lessons were absolute gold.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you for being here, man. This is a great episode. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me, the Dad Edge. It's everywhere. It's on. You just Google the Dad Edge. It's everywhere on Instagram and social media and all that. If you want to pre-order the book, you go to thedadedge.com/legendary book. That's the easiest way to pre-order the book. Comes out September 16th, 2025. The podcast, anywhere you download podcasts, you can find it there. But if you pre-order the book, I'm giving away 2 courses for dudes. One is creating more patience for all my dudes out there who have a hard time with temper.
Why are you fucking pointing at me when you're saying that?
Yeah, he didn't point at me.
For dudes with bad
He didn't point at me.
And then I've got another course called Creating Extraordinary Marriage. And that's communicating better with your wife. I teach 11 skills in that to better communicate, to attract your wife back to you, to create more intimacy, more connection, seen, heard, and safe. It's all in there. So if you pre-order the book, you'll get those 2 courses.
Yeah. No, that's awesome because the only wins and losses in this life are in sports.
Yeah.
The rest of it you can change.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
You really can.
Agreed,
And yeah, dude, I've had these moments that you were talking about earlier, and you and I have some weird, bizarre
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
twist. Because I'll give you one last one before we get off
All right.
air. Is Jess short for Jessica or Jessie? Jessica. Okay, my wife's name is Jessie. So.
Oh, that's wild. That's still wild.
Yeah, we work together, do all the things together, and yeah, it's weird, man. It's fucking weird. You fucking freaked me out.
It's weird.
And again, I heard you on Bernthal's podcast. I was like, all right, shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've known you, but then you're here in the studio.
Yeah.
And some of these, I was like, all right, cool,
It's a
man.
little scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
The similarities.
Yeah. But just know that I'm going to take him to Olive Garden tonight. All right? I'm going to be his fucking dad.
And then
we're
going
going to
to
reconnect tonight.
Then we're going to go to Waffle House at 2 a.m.
We sure are. And we're going to, when the endless breadsticks come, I'm going to say, son, what do you want to know? I know we're here for a reason, okay?
As long as we can have a really long conversation, because those breadsticks are pretty fire. And
they're endless. They really are endless.
As long as they come out warm, because when they get cold, they're like rocks.
This was awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You're great. You've always been great. And I feel like I've known you ever since the real ones, because I love that dude's show. I understand why he's not doing it anymore, but
Yeah.
he's one of my faves, for real. For real. And thank you guys at home for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Go to Spotify, rate the show a 5-star. Then hop on over to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. It's all the advertisers care about. And yes, it is about advertisers. It's a free show. So they put this shit wagging on the air every day, okay? Support us. We appreciate it. For D'Anthony Hollaway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Podcast. Good night, everyone.